Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about setting goals for your homeschool. So if you saw my last video, I talked about how to get started with homeschool, and one of the first things I said is don't start with curriculum, right? So what you need to do is set some goals before you start looking at all that pretty curriculum that's out there, because there's so much out there. So I want to show you how I've done it for our homeschool. I have a third grader and I have one who will be pre-K kindergarten. So he's like 4.5. So he's doing early kindergarten, pre-K 4. So today I want to talk to you about the goals that I did for my third grader. And he does have some special needs. He is dyslexic, very, very smart. So what we consider, what is considered 2E. So he has a lot of strengths and weaknesses, and we address those with goal setting for him. So what I want to talk about, and here, you know what, I just jotted down notes just like this. So I just sat, and you know what, I just got these cute pens, these friction color erasable pens. Love these. I'll have to share those with my planner when I show you my planner video. Anyway, back to the point. So goal setting does not have to be complicated. I just sat down, wrote a couple of pages of notes, right? And I just said, okay, so overall, what is it that I want to accomplish in our overall field for homeschool this year? And so those are our overall homeschool goals for both boys, right? And for me and for our family. And really what I want to focus on is I really want to teach the boys independence. So we're going to start teaching them things to, life skills to kind of help them get through, do things on their own. So we're going to set up a reward system. I've kind of tried it in the past and I've not been real faithful with it. So I really want to do some kind of reward system for them to reward them for being independent and helping out around the house and doing their schoolwork. Another thing that really, I'm feeling right now is gratefulness. And I want to instill in them a sense of gratefulness, especially with everything that's going on in this world, that to be grateful for what they have, who they're with, where they are, and just, I want to instill that feeling of gratefulness in them. Diversity. We really, I tried to incorporate this last year in our homeschool, but I really want to focus a little more on that as well. Diversity in socioeconomic classes, because you know what, when I was growing up, things were really different than what my kids, experienced growing up. These kids don't want for anything, right? They have a whole room for toys, and there's a lot of kids in this world who don't have that, and they need to recognize that. Diversity in race, diversity in religion. I want to be able to show them those things and know that they understand that not everybody's like them, and that's what makes this world so great. I also want to instill in them a sense of just creativity, and both my boys are they're like me. They're right, have a lot of right brain stuff thinking going on, and so I want to really help them, delve in more to that and how to use their creative side for problem solving and things like that. So those are things that I want just overall for our homeschool. And so let me get into what specifically I want for our third grader. So we know that with his dyslexia, he has dyslexia. So his weakest points are in phonics, reading, writing. So, also when you're setting the goals, you want to kind of look at their strengths and their weaknesses. So we're going to focus heavily again on language arts. And I want to, overall, going back to overall, I want to teach him independence and how to do his schoolwork. And overall for him, I want to teach him how to face fears and be brave. I want to teach him how to be strong in his spiritual beliefs as well. So whatever your family's spiritual beliefs are, I believe it's very important to teach your children to be strong in their beliefs. So overall for him, that's what I'm looking at. But going back to language arts, we are going to, so I just jotted down kind of bullet points. And I said, you know what? I want to strengthen and continue to help him learn phonics skills, because he is still really fledging a lot of that out. He has a lot of learning mechanics that he has to overcome. It's very hard for him to write physically. His hand gets really tired easily. And then also for composition of writing, it's hard for him to get thoughts onto paper. So we're going to work on that using maybe some right brain training that kind of helps bring that into the left hemisphere a little bit. And I will share with you some of the curriculum choices later on, but setting these goals helped me pick the curriculum for what I want for him. So anyway, so writing composition, writing physical writing skills, we're working on that. I want him to continue building his reading fluency. That means he's going to be responsible. He's going to have reading assignments that he's going to have to do, and he's going to have comprehension questions to come after that. So we're going to work on that. Grammar, we've touched on grammar with him. He's learned some grammar. Grammar is just really kind of dry for him, and really for me too. I'm not really crazy about learning grammar laws, but you know what? So we have to learn them, right? So it's important for us to be able to communicate, especially on paper and in presentations. We need those grammar skills, and so we're going to work on, you know, continuing those with him, and as well as spelling rules and vocabulary with him. So I want to really introduce poetry and really start analyzing a little poetry for him and for both the kids. You know, we're going to be doing that. But for my top 3 in language arts, I really want to focus for him on reading fluency and comprehension, phonics, spelling, vocabulary, and writing composition. So learning how to really write paragraphs and papers and reports. So that's really it for language arts for him. For math, you know, math he does okay in. He's not crazy about it. He tells me he doesn't want to do math because it's just kind of boring for him. So really what I want to do is teach math in a fun comprehension way so that he can kind of relate to it a little bit better. You know, we'll go through all the things that you have to learn, the scope and sequence of everything that you have to learn for 3rd grade, and that's multiplication and, you know, getting into division and square numbers, Roman numerals, all that good stuff. So we'll be doing all that. Another thing I want to teach him is really introduce him to entrepreneurship. And so with that comes proper money management. So if we're going to be doing some rewards for him for leadership, for responsibility, I want him to be able to know what he can do with the money, right? So he's learning about money. He's learned, you know, physically what the money looks like, but I want him to be able to manage the money. And along with that, we're going to be teaching and introducing entrepreneurship to him. So making math fun, money, and time, we've got to go back over with him reading clocks, because that is a little difficult for him, and that does come with the dyslexia and dysgraphia. So we're going to really focus on reviewing all that as well. For science, this kid could probably teach a college course in science. So this is where he's really advanced. So I want to be able to let him lead a little bit with science. So I want him to kind of pick more of the subjects that he wants to learn about in our homeschool this year. So letting him lead is one of our big things here. He wants to, let's see, you know, I want to let him direct some of the study and so that he can do some of his own research too, as well. So in this, you know, as I look at what I want to teach specifically, I know that I want to do a lot of nature study as science goes, for nature appreciation and stuff like that. So that's a big one for me. I want the boys to really appreciate nature and appreciate what, you know, God's earth is and how we live in it. So that's a big thing in science that I really want to convey this year. He loves animals, so we'll probably do a lot of zoology and ocean life. I do want to get into the human body as well and teaching them how to take care of their bodies. So we're really going to talk about those things in science. So moving on to history or social studies. Social studies, you know, it encompasses a lot of subjects. So history, geography, government civics. So for history, I really, again, want to talk about diversity and learning about the people who've gone before us and learning about their accomplishments. I really want to teach him about that. I want to talk to him about our country's founding and where we are today. We want to really kind of delve into that a little bit. And because it is election season, we're going to be talking about, government and civics and kind of, what are the personal responsibilities? How do we elect our leaders? We're going to be talking about that as well, kind of hand in hand with our country's history and where we are now. Geography. I want to talk about, again, I want to really convey that where the boys are, where they live, can be very different than where people all over the world live, and we all live in different ways. And so we focused a lot on this last year, and I kind of want to keep with that same theme of, focusing on the diverse people and countries and landscapes all around this world. We're going to talk about animals of the world and their habitats, and that kind of goes along with science as well, but that's, learning geography through the animals. We'll be doing that. We are going to be studying our national parks. We are an RV camping family, and so we're going to be studying our national parks, and that's kind of exciting. I'm looking really forward to that. So that is part of our geography studies as well this year as well. Moving on to art, music, and enrichment. So I think this is a very important part of our homeschool, and it just kind of rounds out everything in your academics. And it's something that often gets left out because it's on the tail end, right? So I want to make sure that we're hitting on these things as well, because that goes along with the creative thinking and problem solving using your creative brain. You need to really enrich that side, that art and music. The art and music studies are very important. Okay, so this year he has told me he wants to play guitar, so he's going to be learning how to play the guitar. And along with that, we're going to be studying different musicians and doing some composer studies, as well as artist studies. And we may be looking at some hymn studies and looking at hymns as a form of communication, and how the composers wrote those hymns and what they were meaning to convey. Looking at them maybe like poetry a little bit, and it's a style of communication I think is important to learn. For art, color composition, color mixing, we're going to be learning the color wheel. So I think that's really important too, seeing those colors in nature, identifying them in nature. So we're going to be doing a lot of that with art studies, and we're going to attempt to teach music notes. So we'll see how that goes, because that's kind of hard too when you have dyslexia to kind of learn the music notes, but we're going to introduce those and expose him to those. So as far as enrichment goes, he loves Minecraft, and so I'm going to try to incorporate some things that he can do with Minecraft, and he's always asking me, what can you give me a challenge to build in Minecraft? So we're going to study architecture and landmarks. And so my plan is every week to kind of give him a challenge to build a certain type of architecture or building, a famous building or landmark that he can do in his Minecraft game, because he really loves it. So we're going to do that. Again, we're studying national parks. We're going to do some fun things with that. That's going to be kind of enrichment studies. Survival skills. He loves, so he's a Cub Scout, and we are, like I said, we're an RV camping family. So we're kind of talk about that a little bit with survival skills. What do you do in the wilderness? What do you do in these different situations? So we're going to be reading and doing some different things with that. Sign language. I would love to teach the boys sign language. And so that's kind of something that is a goal for me as well. We will be introducing other languages, just introducing. So we're going to kind of start getting into Latin, and then some basic words in French and Spanish. So we'll be talking about that, as well as different languages, sign language, and some of the other languages. And then lastly, I have, we're going to be doing some, let him do some online classes that he loves. without school and Zoom classes and stuff like that, because he really enjoys those. And it's a way, because of, this whole quarantine thing, it's a way for him to be, to see other people, other kids on the screen as well, and kind of hear from them. And so that's another way that we can do it. But he loves doing, interest-led classes online. So I'm going to let him do that as well. So that is kind of what I have for overall goals now. Like I said, I just jotted all these down. I will take these and either type them in or write them in neatly and put them in, these are all going to go in his portfolio at the end of the year, along with samples of his work. And so, but I'll make these neat and stick them on my planner so I can always refer back to our goals. But again, if you're just starting out, sit down, take a minute, and write down your goals overall for your homeschool and then individual for each child. And that will help you make decisions on curriculum and where you want to go with that. So if you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. Put down in the comments any questions you have, or anything you have to say. I would love to know how you do your goals. And are they extensive, or are they just really quick goals? How do you do that for the year? So if you want to follow me, I'm also on Facebook. In fact, I'm about to go paint a piece of furniture now. And if you want to watch me do that, I'm over on my Facebook page at Real Home Renee. And I'm also on Instagram and Pinterest. You'll find me there as well. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.